What's goody to any and everybody who may be listening? Look, I don't know if you can hear that motorcycle that just woo, but I'm hearing something about a firecracker. But anyway, let's get into this message. Oh my God, this is probably going to be the greatest message thus far. And I'm excited to be the one to depart this message upon you. Okay. So let's get into this. Like, I don't know how long this gonna be. I almost feel embarrassed about the things that I posted prior, all that cussing and fussing and all. But I suppose they served a purpose because I wouldn't have got here if it weren't for all that cussing and fussing and anger and rage and things of this nature. So, oh my God, I don't even know where to start. Okay, let's get into this. Let's take it back to out of this simulation before we even gotten down into this simulation. Here now, where we are, inside of this black orb. Myself and my counterpart, Rumala. Well, that's what he's called here on Earth, but I think we have a whole different name. And it's the one name for two, me and him. So, and we are not human. We are, you could say gods, but I don't like to refer to myself as a god. I don't. No. But, and outside of this simulation, we are just like pure light. Light. Pure light. And, a little bit about how we function is that we are the two polarities. He's the masculine, I'm the feminine. And we do serve two different functions in terms of how we operate and as one unit. So for me, it's just like I know how I'm just like unpotentiated energy. It's a lot of circles, it's a lot of swirls and things of this nature, and I do have the ability to regrow and regenerate. Okay? And he is like straight lines. He's like straight lines. And he knows how to direct the energy. Okay? And so we flow and we flow through the, I guess you can call it air or the ethers. We fly through that. And he is the one who drives the vehicle, and I'm the one who keeps growing and regenerating and giving birth to myself. Okay. Furthermore, we are highly competitive. We are highly competitive towards one another. So we are always participating in like the games, which I'm about to be getting into right now, the games. And what I'm getting about the games is like the Olympics. So it's not just us. There are other pairs of souls who broke off of Source, the All, the Creator. And at this time, when it's time to go out into the games, we all just break off and just fly into, it's these orbs, the black orbs that I've been talking about. Okay, that my view of them had been skewed for a purpose, though. There was a purpose to my view being skewed, which I'm going to be getting into. Me thinking just all black, bleak, and dark. But okay, so there are other pairs of souls that go out and play the games, and we love to go out and play the games. We are excited about them because they don't really come about often, and there are great rewards for playing such games and actually winning. Okay. I don't know if I'm gonna tell you our strategy. I don't know. Maybe not. But let's just get into it a little deeper about how this translated into human, how we got into the orb and everything of this nature, and this translated into the human experience, how we are towards each other. Okay. Um. Let me see here. Where I'm finna go. Okay, so we fly out. We break off from source, and we fly out, and we go straight to the orb. This orb, the biggest, the hugest, the scariest orb that you probably would ever see. No ma'am. For me, it was a no ma'am. Instantly, for me, when we saw the orb, I was like, hell to the no. I didn't say that, but you know what I'm saying, because we don't talk. It's like that's like telepathic communication. But hell to the no. So we trained. We had to train for this. He trained me. Okay, to go into the orb, but still that fear, baby. I gotta tell you, for me, I was scared as hell. Okay, so anyway, we break off from source, and we go into the orb, and this is the scariest thing because that orb transforms into a net, which trapped both of us inside of that net. Now, normally we would have been able to get out of that net. I feel like because we have done this so many times before, we always go into these orbs, and that net, for me, it was unexpected. Okay, and I was scared. The fear, it was the fear, the overwhelming fear. Okay. And then from the net, it transformed into a ship. All of these happenings are just illusions, mind you. Because of I'm hearing this symbiotic relationship between the orb and the light. I'm hearing something about that. Okay, it's able to something about. See, the pieces of this soul, my soul, right here, down here, right now, where we are in this dimension, all part. I can't even explain that. Let's just move on. Let's move on from that. Okay, but anyway, so we enter this orb, and it involved archons. Okay, there are archons who did create the human body. They did alter and I also forgot to say that not only are these games, but these are lessons as well. Okay, so they are not just games, but games. They are lessons for which we drop down into them to learn. And again, the rewards are great, especially for accomplishing a feat such as this, like we have, dropping all the way down into the root chakra. This is exactly where you want to be to win these types of games. Down here in the root chakra, where I am a male, mind you. Okay, which was a part of our strategy to win this game. Okay? I don't know if I'm going to get into all the ins and outs of how we use this as a strategy. I might, but let's just move on, okay? So yeah, the archons, they make the human bodies. But for me, this was a painful and traumatic experience. I'm telling you, and it was full of torture and everything of that nature. Okay. They make the human bodies, and right away, myself and my counterpart got to having sex. Whereas before we drop into these games and acquire human bodies, we do not have sex. There's no such thing as sex outside of this simulation and this experience as being humans. Okay, sex is a human experience, specifically of this earth right here. Because outside of this simulation, there is no sex or nothing perverted like that. We don't. No, that's a feature specifically of dropping all the way down into and past the sacral, or just in this experience. Period. Because me and my counterpart stayed, fucking like cats and dogs, except for this lifetime. And maybe the prior, up in the sacral. Some we it shifted a lot, but that was all a part of our strategy, to eventually break apart like that. What else do I want to say about that? Okay, we get to fucking like cats and dogs right there up on that ship. Okay, there is a lot going on, a lot of happenings taking place on this ship. And then after we have sex, we drop down. I feel like we allowed the black orbs, or he allowed the black orbs. Okay, there's this individual by the name of Andy. All right, it was incarnated. He is incarnated. I'm not sure if he's still living or not, but his name was Andy. And he was the creature who pumped my counterpart full of these black orbs and all of these. It appeared to be electrical currents running through him of this dark matter or black orbs. So, and I'm seeing something about brownish, and also this is what I mean by it's something about a roach. Okay. When I call him a roach. Well, when I have called him a roach prior, because there's something about that magic that I ain't gonna get into that. But anyway, previously I was thinking that my counterpart couldn't handle this creature, which was shocking to me because I knew my counterpart could. But it was a part of our strategy to allow this creature to infect him with this, or it is a feature of the games that this happens to the masculine counterpart. Okay, because of the purpose that it serves. Okay. So yeah, that creature, Andy, pumps him full of these orbs, and he's not able to get to me though. I do not allow the creature to get to me because I keep regrowing and I keep regenerating. They could not get around that aspect of it, which is why we had to drop down into the games anyway. Which is why we had to drop down into this simulation. Because they couldn't get to me, and it had to be done in slow increments, and my counterpart had to be the one that did it. Okay, and this was accomplished again through that organ, or through these sexual organs, the vagina, which again the female body was modeled after the circles, the swirls, and just the moisture. A lot of moisture. I'm seeing rain, stuff like that. Inside the way my soul energy is shaped is how the female body was modeled after. Okay, and the way the male body was modeled with the straight lines, that's exactly how his light acted. You know, um, so I was in my original body. Okay, and so he allowed them to do that, and he did that on purpose. Okay. He that creature could not have never overpowered my husband. Get the fuck out of here, ever. That could have never happened. Okay, ever. But he allowed them to do it. Okay. And so after we have sex, or in the process of us having sex, well, I guess I should talk about the Bible. Let's bring that Bible on up into this, because I feel like there's something about the Bible that after we had sex, they separated us. So they put him in, I guess, some other different room, and then me in some room, and we were separated for a while. When this individual came back, like when I saw this individual again, I felt like he was a completely different person. But this is because I didn't know nothing about. I knew, but I didn't know about, like, sort of the setup and the strategy that my counterpart was using. You know, I was sort of in the dark about what he was doing. I didn't know he was playing it like this. Okay. But when he came back, and when I seen him again, he was different, very different, and just like how men are on Earth, how Earth men are, how they think the woman is beneath, or the feminine is beneath the masculine. And no, my counterpart, no. Oh no, because me and my counterpart stayed going at it and competing about who could outdo the other. Things between the masculine and the feminine outside of this simulation, or especially outside of this root chakra, the dynamics is completely different. But when he came back, and he knew I was not gonna go for that. What he was trying to, he had that Bible. That Bible was already something that was on that ship. Okay. And he thought that I was going to be getting down on my knees and pleasing him, and being submissive, and I'm picturing a caveman too. For some reason, I keep picturing a caveman, and I keep hearing woman. I just keep hearing that. Okay. And I wasn't with it. I was not with nothing he was talking about. Okay, I was sovereign. I'm still sovereign, but you know what I'm saying? That's how I was acting then too. I'm sovereign. You're not gonna tell me what the fuck to do. You know what I'm saying? Or feel like you above me in no way. Okay. So it was my rebellion. My rebellion is what set it off and dropped us down into this simulation, because they had to do it again. They had to present these illusions. Aside from the torture, they had to present these illusions, and I would have to consent without consenting to it. Okay, and them using my husband or my counterpart to slowly, because he was already infected with the black orbs. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, we drop down into the illusion. We drop down into the simulation, and starting out, I am the celestial body. This is a different type of celestial body, like just light. I feel I'm seeing stars and just a lot of light. And I was in the process of giving birth. See, us having sex, that first sex encounter is what dropped us down into the simulation. And where I began to have birth as a result of that sex that we had. To the material, to the matter, to all of the matter here now, and to all of the matter that was here in the upper chakras as well. and all of the souls here, all of the fractals, all of the light sparks. Okay. Um. And but okay. Previously, I thought that I was alone. I thought I was up there alone, but no, he was there the whole time. What those black orbs? Let me tell you a feature of those black orbs. Okay. What they do is that they freeze the light sparks. So my own light sparks, they had my light sparks frozen into place as they would suck the energy out of my sparks. So these black orbs came into my energy, in my auric field, and also inside of my body. Not just the physical, but the mental, the spiritual, the emotional, the ethereal. And they placed themselves there, freezing my light sparks, because my light sparks constantly are moving. They freeze the light sparks into place and suck the energy out. Okay? This had to be done slowly, and it had to be done through my counterpart as we descended down through the body, starting with the crown, as myself as the celestial body, giving birth. Him there the whole time. I didn't realize until just now, within the past couple of days, because that light spark had been freed, and I was able to see the information inside of my energy field as I'm scanning my energy field. This is a story that I am telling you as we go. I'm getting the pieces. It's getting clearer as we go because I'm still in the healing process, or still, it's still coming together. But this is a nice, welcomed change of perspective on everything. So anyway, okay. After the crown, we then drop down into the third eye, where I was the ruler, giant. Okay, let's go back to him being there. He was there, but that was blocked from my view. I couldn't see it because of a black orb that had that light particle frozen and sucking the energy out of it, converting it into other bullshit. But he was there. And there were these black orbs, or these gnats or fruit flies bothering me the whole time I was up there giving birth. Baby, it was the most annoying and uncomfortable feeling up there. It was the most, oh my God, 23 minutes. Ooh. But it was the most uncomfortable feeling up there with those black orbs bothering me, and it wasn't nothing but my motherfucking husband up there, pumping me with them very slowly though, very slowly, and it wasn't as obvious. But I do recall myself swinging, doing something like swinging at him, or trying to thump him, and get him away from me. But anyway, then we drop down from the crown into the third eye. Okay, where I was the ruler, a giant. Okay, a giant. I was like I said, I could have been classified as a white lady at this time. My skin color was white, and I believe I had blonde hair. I'm picturing short blonde hair at that time. A giant with short blonde hair, and baby, the way I used to stomp. Excuse me. The way I used to walk and stomp. But anyway, everybody else was like little. The people were like regular sized people. And it wasn't as solid as this. It wasn't as 3D. Okay, the ethers were more malleable. There was magic in the air and things of this nature. Okay. And again, previously I thought I was alone during this lifetime, but no, my husband was there, because I'm recalling the seats that we used to sit in. I'm seeing we used to sit in these seats, and I'm also seeing like a hawk. eagle, a hawk, or eagle, both, or we were both like hawks or something like that. That's what I'm saying. But we were human as well, and giants. Okay. And I believe we used to have just sex. I believe we used to have sex out there too. I'm seeing that. Okay. And the way that I used to end a lifetime is that, or switch or drop down the body, is I would take a piece, I would pinch a piece of my skin off, and blow it up, and then I would transfer my consciousness out of the previous one into the new one. Okay, so I would be doing that a lot during this journey, during this game. Okay, so at that time we were giants and we ruled the people, and there was not really many people. Like, definitely not in the millions. There was no government. It was just me and him. We didn't need a government. There was really no such thing as anything that's going on here. Race. There was no businesses, corporations. There was no hospitals. There was no need for no hospitals because the body could heal itself. We could heal ourselves. A lot of the stuff that's going on now did not go on then in the third eye with myself and my husband as giants. Okay? But there would be, of course, here we go with these black orbs and these creatures coming on up, invading. Okay, invading and invading. Okay, but this is, again, my husband allowed this, or my counterpart allowed this to take place, and it was a strategy to get me, to fall all the way down into the root, which where we are now, which is where you want to be to win the game. You want to be here in this root, in this solid, in the foundation. This is where you want to be to win the game. And I would have wanted to stay in a chakra up. So he kept pushing me to drop. Okay? So, but it was something about this invasion that made me drop out of this chakra, the third eye, where I was the ruler. So then we get into the throat, where I was that mermaid, baby. And I'm trying to tell you, this mermaid, she was stunning, beautiful. I was a white lady, but I was getting a little darker. I was starting to get dark. I feel like, I don't want to say Persian. I looked Persian or something. I had dark hair, long dark hair. And I would come out of the water and sit on a rock, this big, huge rock, under the moon, where at that time the moon was very beautiful and big. Okay? But here we go. So my husband wasn't particularly in this because this one wasn't that long. I recall this one being a little short. And I also recall this older creature. Okay? And I now looking back, I feel like he is associated with my counterpart. It was set up by my counterpart. This old creature kept on coming up to me, bothering me. An ugly creature, but he kept on bothering me. After so long, it wore on me, to the degree that I said, oh, I got to end this. I got to go. And he was pressuring me to drop. This creature was pressuring me to drop out of the throat. Okay? So, we leave the throat and into the heart, which is, oh my God, this is an eventful chakra, to say the least. We start out with the Gale. Okay, the Gale, beautiful, still very beautiful, stunning, white lady. Could have been classified as white, but again, we didn't have those races and things of that nature to call people. A white lady with light hair, like brownish or brownish red hair, long hair. and light eyes. My eyes were like hazel at this time. But I do recall noticing a change in them at this time, where I began to look more reptilian or something like that. I noticed the change, and I noticed the beauty sort of not fading, because she was still beautiful. And I think probably to me, because of the imperfections, she was the most beautiful out of the all. For me, I loved her imperfections. Looking back at it, but she began to notice her imperfections because she had forgotten that she was in the game, which again is part of the strategy. My counterpart knew that I was going to forget about it, forget and become complacent. Here we go again. Okay, me and my counterpart worked very closely together. We worked with the collective. Okay, and we had sort of an explosion of population. There were more people. I was no longer a giant, but I was like, and I wasn't necessarily the ruler either. I was a little lower. The power had began to be shared, and that was because of those black orbs beginning to accumulate inside of my body and my aura. And my husband, the masculine, starting to gain. The masculine was starting to gain more traction as this was occurring, as these orbs, but not the masculine, not the. How can I say it? This was not the divine masculine. This was the contaminated masculine, the one who was contaminated with the orbs, okay, that began to gain traction. Now, with this gal, my husband and I worked with the collective. We did divination, whereas these individuals would come to my house and we would, do the divination, and they would look into my eyes and suck energy out or something like that. But this was the start of the collective, which would lead up to the future collectives. Stealing energy. This was the beginning of my husband, or my counterpart, training the collective to steal the energy. But unbeknownst to me, I did not know this at the time. I only know this now in hindsight. Okay. This was the contaminated masculine energy doing this. Okay, and not the divine. So not too long after this, something happened. My counterpart began that black magic, baby. That dark magic. It was the dark magic for me that started to do it, and I forgot how he got into it, but he got into it. He got into this dark magic. It all stems from the ship, because as above, so below, and those black orbs, that dark matter, getting into him. He got to doing the dark magic, and guess who he was doing the dark magic again on? He was doing it on me, child. Okay, and I could feel this magic being done, and I was like, at that time, I was wondering why. Now looking back, I know why he was doing it, but at that time, I used to think, why in the fuck is this individual doing magic on me? He has a problem. Okay. Eventually, something happened. There was a scandal that occurred. Now, I'm confused a little bit too about my children. I didn't have children at that time, but I did eventually bore two children. But I believe that I did that as the coven leader, which would be next, which I'm going to be getting into. But there was a scandal that happened as the Gale, okay, and it was because of this black magic that had been done. That this scandal occurred, and the ending of this. At the ending of this, it's something about the house being raided and something like that. Evidence being collected. I'm also seeing this lady, this black lady. She was her color was brown, but at that time we didn't have the classification for the race, so She had a brown color. And this, I believe this is the beginning of the Orisha. We're going to be talking about them as well in this. Let's see if I have to break this up. Let me see how far I am. Okay, we at 35. We're going to be talking about the Orisha. This is the beginning of this black lady. Where did this black lady came from? She came at the end of the Gallian era, where this scandal took place. There was no such thing as the media, but for some reason I'm picking up on the media at the end of this. This was a whole big scandal where the media was involved somehow. This was a humiliation ritual as well. Because after this lifetime, there would be torture. Torture. With my eyes, something about my eyes. This was a lifetime where my eyes were turned inside out, and there were all these different individuals coming up to me. What I'm picturing is that I was in, like, those old medieval torture things where they have your hands and your head through that thing and they shut it like that. I'm picturing that, but it wasn't like that. It was something else. Wow, these individuals would walk past me and look into my eye and suck the energy of the humiliation or something like that. They were sucking that negative energy about that humiliation that I was feeling. And I do believe that was about my children or something like that. Okay, I'm not quite sure what that humiliation was from that lifetime as the Gale. Okay, but again, you had all these individuals walking past me, getting that energy. I'm talking about people. These people, businesses and things like that, did not exist then. But what I'm getting is that they were preparing for the lower chakras at that time when these individuals were walking by me to suck the energy out of my eyes, to suck that negative energy and to harvest that energy. That's what they were doing. Okay. So after the Gale, we drop down. Well, no, we stay in the heart. We become the head of the coven. This heart was the heart was eventful. So I was like three different versions of myself in the heart. Okay. After the Gale, I was the head of the coven. Okay, that's where you have the speckled eye. Who was my sister. She played my sister in this lifetime. And you have, what's the girl name? Nassim. Who I talked about before as being a black widow, as well as Danielle, my sister, ex-sister, being a black widow. Okay, and all of these other individuals, here is where the Orishas become more prominent. I start to get closer to the other individuals who are known as Orishas. Okay. And it was magic. Sex magic was the name of the game, baby. Okay, when sex magic was the name of the game between myself and my counterpart. And as well, I was getting darker. So in this lifetime, I was not black yet, but I was. I looked like I could have been Native American. I looked like I could have been Native American. Okay, I had very dark hair in this lifetime. And I had, the population was starting to increase. I had a lot of little churn, coming by. Who now, looking back, I view as nymphs. I view them as nymphs, but they still came about as a result of my soul. Okay, so those are my churn. Definitely gave birth to them. Okay. What else? And I taught. I was a teacher. But see, this lifetime, here we go. This was a very magical lifetime. I'm getting a lot of voodoo. I'm picking up on a lot of voodoo being done as well. As on me, dark magic done on me by my own husband, my own counterpart, and these girls who, of course, wanted my counterpart because who would not want my counterpart in human form? Who would not want my counterpart? Who previously I viewed as an incubus, but no, this individual was not an incubus. He's much more. He could never be an incubus. He knew what he was doing, and I applaud him for doing what he did at this time. But now that my perspective has shifted, and it's so strange that it shifted this much in just 2 days, baby, because I was raging like a motherfucker the other day, thinking about him having sex with these humans, these little girls, okay, which at the time infuriated me, of course, and made me jealous. Very jealous that he was not monogamous and he was not just with me, that he needed to have these others. But now I am understanding it very differently, about how he needed to experience all of Mother, which included the birthings and everything of that nature. He needed to feel it all. And I completely understand at this time what he was doing. Okay, but again, the sex magic, the dark magic he was doing with these girls, and most of all, the damage he caused them. Him having sex with these girls, in and of itself, caused them to become the Black Widow. You know, they were the Black Widow because of that. Okay, it was the sex that programmed them. The sex magic that he was having with them that programmed them to go against me. Okay. This is how he went about playing the game. I understand. This is how he went about playing the game. And it was about complete absorption because it's my job to keep regrowing and, reproducing and giving birth to myself. And it's his job to terminate that. Okay? So he had the girls going against me. He had the girls. They were Black Widows. And they were going against me at that time. And I could also feel the sex magic that he would be having with them. I could feel it. Okay? Anyway, eventually, after this lifetime, there was some significant dark magic done. And I gotta tell you that my daughter, my own daughter, for which I put the speck in her eye up there when I was giving birth to her, Danielle, child, or the one who played my sister in this lifetime, drunk my juices, baby. Cause in this lifetime, I had to conserve of my energy, conserve of my soul energy, and I kept it in like a little trinket. So, something about me being kicked while I was down. She came by and kicked me while I was down. I was down because something had happened. Something had happened. That black magic that my counterpart was doing was, oh my God. I'm also picking up on something about my hair. Okay, so there was something about my hair, some dark magic that my counterpart did with my hair, his hair. And I'm picking up on something about the reason why it's called dreadlock anyway. Dreadlock. Okay, which is something about my hair, which it sort of followed me into this lifetime as well. Okay, with this hair and these black orbs that attach to my hair. Okay, whenever I try to grow it, you know what I'm saying? Even though I don't have a receding hairline. At 40, thank you, mother, father. That's that fountain of youth. That's that inner child that keep me like that. But anyway, so that dark magic culminated after she drunk the juices, after she consumed it whole. I was taking it a sip at a time. Whenever I needed something, I would take a little sip of the juice and manifest the things that I needed to manifest. No, she drunk the whole trinket. Okay, and this energy consumed her immediately. And she got the conjuring up the black orb. She got the conjuring up all these, but they all came through him because they was fucking, of course, and she was a Black Widow. But she got to conjuring up all these orbs, and that came into my body, my auric, and my energy field, and froze some of my light particles into place and began to suck. This is the first time where I noticed that this was taking place because I was frozen. It's like as this was happening, I was in suspended. Let me make sure this is still recording. Oh, it's still recording. Dang, 45 minutes. Okay. So I was frozen as this was happening. I could not move, but baby, I was mad as all hell, and I just could not. If I would have gotten loose, there would have been death. Okay, there would have been a lot of deaths right then and there if I had gotten loose because I was so mad. Okay, but these black orbs came in and they froze my light sparks into place and began to suck the energy out. This is what had been happening the whole time prior to this anyway in these slow increments. But this was the culmination. This was a culmination. This reached a culmination point at this time. Midway through the body. Okay? So we are still in the heart at this time, but I do drop. I drop to the Madame. Now this is the end. This is the very end of that. We still in the heart. I'm still the same though. I'm still the same individual from the coven. I'm still her. So I don't change that. I'm still her from the coven. I just drop it. I'm the Madame now. And we have this brothel, something like that, where the men came through, we had sex with them, yada yada yada. This is where I'm noticing a lot of the Orishas, some of the male Orishas, as well as an individual by the name of Brandon Pegues, who was very close to my counterpart at that time. And again, I was still the same loving. I was loving and inviting. So, okay, here we go. Let's go ahead. I forgot how the Madame ended. The Madame ended. Let me say how the Madame ended because the girls had got to trapping the souls. The girls had got to using their pussies to drop souls or trap souls down into like simulations, things of this nature, like many simulations inside of the simulation. They began to use their coochies to do things like that. And I do recall one of them trapping my counterpart, baby. Okay, I had to come on down. I had to come on down and get my husband. Okay, that's the only reason I dropped from that. I would not have dropped. And after I dropped from that, man, it was over. Cause then it's like I was forgetting more and more as I was dropping about the games that we were in the game. By the time we dropped into the solar plexus, it was over, and I completely forgot. Okay. So I do this on purpose. Again, I take a piece of my skin off. I take a piece of my skin off, and I blow it up, and then I transfer my consciousness into that. Okay. So here we go. We are in the solar plexus. Okay, and I am mother. Okay, sort of ruler, but mother. People, they call me mother. You knew I was mother. Okay, the earth, the vibration, the consciousness of the earth. Everybody knew who I was, and that's because of the features, my light, the light that my light sparks. It's like this was the chakra that was most close to being outside of this simulation. Okay, where I'm pure light. So my light was flowing around my body, like lightning, like you can see lightning. And the girls, all of the girls, and I think the boys, no, all of the girls had their energy fields, which protected them from men. Because at this time, Mother was really, her heart was closed. Baby, that heart closed up. Okay, she was stern. She was really mean. She was really disciplined at this time. And she would discipline. She would send you. And there's a place that she would send you to. There was something that she would do, like something like roll on her eyes or something like that, that you did not want her to do to you. Okay. She did not play, and her heart was not open. Um, and she went by the book. She was. I'm hearing militant. I'm hearing militant. Okay, by the way she was, and this was an older version too. So she wasn't the. She wasn't like okay. I feel like the teacher, the cover leader was probably in her late 20s. This mother was probably in her 50s. Is what I'm picturing. And throughout that, we did not have to grow up from babies. It's important to mention that we did not. You could just be who you are. You could just manifest yourself, who you are. Who you could just be that in the moment. That's how the magic was in the upper chakras. Okay. So she was older, and that had been because of the closed heart, because of what had happened prior. She was learned. She learned. Okay, here we have the Umbrella Girls, and we have her counterpart. Well, my counterpart, as a tree person. So if you can imagine a palm tree, okay, imagine a palm tree, and that's the dreads. The leaves were dreads, something like that. And then he was a giant, almost a giant, but not like a giant like we were back in the third eye. Not that much of a giant, but like the size of a tree, a palm tree, that tall. We were taller as giants though. But and I wasn't human, but I wasn't a tree person either. You know, I had manifested my own form, and he manifested his own form. But again, here we go with the toxic masculine, not the toxic, but the contaminated masculine, the one full of these orbs, these dark orbs. Where we at? Oh, 52 minutes, okay. Um, and at this time, there was a lot of sexual energy taking place between myself and this creature, baby. Like I said, the way that I used to pride myself up on him and just ride, and we used to just, and this was almost all day, every day. And I gotta tell you that this was the time, this was the shifting point for real, because this is when a lot of those black orbs were getting into me. Unbeknownst to me, it was the pleasure for me. It was the way I felt, and it was the pleasure that kept me up on him like that all day, every day. And as I was doing this, it was these black orbs that were getting into me and just doing what they were doing without me knowing, child. Freezing my stuff in a place. Eventually, it got to the point where, at the end of this, or midway through, he was able to curse me fully. So this is when I really get like, oh my God, it was him. This individual is cursing me. He cursed me at midway through this, but it was through somebody else. That old creature had popped back up and did something. And again, I was froze. I could not move as all of these black orbs entered into my body, my auric, and my energy fields. Okay. So this lifetime, okay. I'm gonna come back because this is getting a little too long. I hope that I can upload this. I'm gonna come right back. Bye bye.